Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, the legal implications of states and cities refusing to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement actions. Also tonight, details on the U.S. Supreme Court again turning down a challenge to the proposed Oak Flat copper mine. And a local artist donates more than 1,000 paintings to St. Vincent de Paul's Shelter for People in Need. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Can states and cities refuse to help with federal immigration enforcement? And if so, can the president withhold federal funding to those cities and states that refuse to cooperate? The questions are of increasing relevance as major metropolitan areas respond to the Trump administration's immigration crackdowns. Joining us now is former U.S. Attorney Paul Charlton, a partner at Denton's law firm in Phoenix. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining
me, Ted.
All right, let's talk about this. Cities and states, can they refuse to cooperate with these federal actions?
The short answer is yes, they can. But you can't go so far as to obstruct the federal government. So if the federal government comes into a town and they say, we want to bring ICE out here, Immigration Customs Enforcement, we want to arrest folks who are here unlawfully, the cities can refuse to participate in that action, but they can't stand in the way of the federal government seeking to enforce those laws.
Can the federal government say that by refusing to cooperate, you are standing in the way?
They can't. And one of the reasons they can't is longstanding U.S. Supreme Court law, Ted. And you may remember when the Brady Bill was first put into play. That's a law that says the federal government is able to do background checks on people who are going to purchase weapons. When that law first came into effect, the government, the U.S. government, required states to pay for and enact each one of these background checks on their own. Local sheriffs, including local sheriffs from Arizona, objected. They said the federal government can't compel us to do something in compliance with their own federal laws. And Justice Scalia, one of the most conservative justices on the Supreme Court at the time, said, that's correct. You, federal government, cannot compel the state to do something they don't wish to do, and something for which you haven't provided them funds.
Yeah, I thought about gun laws when we first heard this as kind of shoes on the other foot here. It's interesting to see the different response. But how does, like, using the National Guard, if the federal government wants to use the National Guard and Governor Hobbs says, for this particular reason, I don't think so, can she do that?
She can say, I don't want to use the National Guard inasmuch as I, the governor of this state, am in control of the National Guard. What the president has done in Oregon or attempted to do in Illinois near Chicago is say, well, then if you don't do it, governor of those states, I will federalize the National Guard. And I, as the commander-in-chief, will send the National Guard under federal authority into those states. So it is a different component. We often think of the National Guard helping during bad weather, helping during local and state emergencies. It is unusual, to say the least, to see National Guards federalized and then deployed in states.
It deployed at the opposition of state leadership.
And deployed from one state to another in the opposition. And you may have heard that the governor of Oklahoma, a Republican, has objected to the use of National Guard troops in that way. And what he says is, it's interesting, I think, and frank on his part to discuss it in this way, he would very much object if someone were to employ as a federal nationalization of National Guards from, say, Illinois and deploy them in Oklahoma to enforce a law that he didn't want enforced there.
Did we see some of this during the Civil Rights era?
We did. We saw some of this during the Civil Rights era. You know your history very well. The National Guard was federalized and employed so as to allow students to attend school when there was overt and open discrimination against African Americans. They were allowed to go into those schools. The National Guard assisted in protecting those students as they went into those schools.
And I think of marijuana laws, because some states allow for the use of marijuana, but that's still against federal law.
Precisely. And so if we were to go in, there's a great line by Napoleon that says, if you want to, the best way to get rid of a bad law is to enforce it. You can imagine what would happen if the federal government were to come into Arizona, where marijuana is by and large completely legalized, and to say, we are now going to enforce prosecutions of even small quantities possession of marijuana. There'd be a great uproar, and I suspect state and local law enforcement would not assist the federal government in the enforcement of those marijuana laws.
And again, they don't have to assist, but they can't stand in the way.
Precisely. And it's interesting too, Ted, because oftentimes when you think about local law enforcement not assisting the federal government, and in particular as it relates to immigration-related offenses, there are legitimate, apolitical law enforcement reasons that local law enforcement wouldn't want to do that. And if I could just give you one example, it would be domestic violence. Local law enforcement will tell you almost uniformly, we don't want to have victims of domestic violence fear that it is the victim who will be arrested if we respond to a domestic violence call because they're here unlawfully in the United States. We want victims of domestic violence to be able to call us if they're being harmed in some way and not fear arrest.
That's nuance, though, and nuance is kind of taking a holiday in a lot of this. But the bottom line is, the Supreme 10th Amendment, states have sovereignty, but federal law is supreme.
Correct. And so the 10th Amendment, you're exactly right, says the federal government has specific rights, but every other right that isn't called for, that isn't specifically assigned to the federal government, the states retain those rights. And one of those rights, says Justice Scalia, is to enforce their own laws and not be compelled to enforce federal law.
All right, let's talk about being compelled to force federal law. What if a president in the White House threatens to withhold federal funding to a certain area, metropolitan area, a state, because those leaders are not agreeing to cooperate? Is that legally possible?
In narrow situations, it can. If the law that's seeking to be enforced specifically says from the federal government, if you don't enforce these laws, we can withhold federal funds. If it's related to the law, and if it isn't coercive. So, for example, you may recall, Ted, that there was a period of time when the speed limit in the United States was 55 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. What the federal government said to the states was, look, you don't have to have a 55 mile per hour speed limit within your state, but if you don't, we're going to hold back on federal funding for your highways. That's a law that was related to the highways. It was a law that was specifically allowed for that kind of federal funding, and we need you to go 55 miles per hour. If the president here says, I'm not going to give you $1, California, for example, if you don't enforce the federal immigration laws, those two things are completely divergent and separate. And it is likely, if that goes to court and goes to the U.S. Supreme Court, it will be found unconstitutional.
It's got to be specific to that particular action, correct?
Precisely.
All right. Local law enforcement, is local law enforcement required to protect ICE agents?
They are required to protect all who fall within the ambit of their jurisdiction. So if ICE agents are being assaulted, it is local law enforcement's job to go there and protect everyone. The problem that local law enforcement often have is that there isn't good coordination between federal law enforcement and local law enforcement. And that's not unique to immigration law. You'll find that, and I've had that in my experience for many years. Oftentimes the two don't communicate. But you can put local law enforcement in a bad position if you, in federal law enforcement, are acting in such a way as to put yourself in danger and then requiring local law enforcement to come, if you will, to the rescue.
Yes. I want you to, running out of time here, but I want you to comment on this post by Attorney General Pam Bondi, the statement. This is a quote to states and cities. You better be abiding by our federal policies with our federal government and law enforcement, because if you aren't, we're going to come after you. What do you make of that? That
it's performative and not something you could ever enforce in the courts. And so there's a certain segment of the population who likes to hear that, but were you to try to truly enforce that kind of statement in any federal court, I'm pretty sure you'd lose.
Yeah, the idea of it being coercive, I mean, the Supreme Court says you can't do that if it's coercive.
Well, and we go back to this very idea that I can't compel local law enforcement to enforce a federal law. They can make that decision on their own.
Before you go, where is all this headed?
Well, I suspect it's on its way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and we'll have to see how it is they rule. As you know, Ted, there have been many, many decisions that they've made so far that have been favorable to this administration, some few that have not. There are very many conservative justices who in the past, like Justice Scalia, who have found this to be offensive to the Constitution. If they follow that precedent, they'll follow here and say it's unconstitutional to compel local law enforcement to enforce immigration laws.
It'll be interesting to see. Paul Charlton, former U.S. Attorney, partner at Denton's. Always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Let's have a conversation about our histories and where we belong.
I want to live the story. I want to be inside. It's through storytelling that we decipher and understand the world around us.
Friday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
Next time on Father Brown, a young man is killed during a robbery. And as Father Brown investigates the victim,
He never went anywhere without his camera.
he discovers a shocking clue.
Photographs of an explicit nature.
Father Brown.
Saturday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Next time,
Let's get this party started.
a wealthy businessman is killed
There's no suggestion of suicide.
and a witness has vanished.
Man falls to his death, and the last person he spoke to disappears shortly after. Can't just be a coincidence.
Death in Paradise.
Saturday night at 8 on Arizona PBS.
The U.S. Supreme Court recently turned down an attempt to overturn a land exchange that would allow a massive copper mine at Oak Flat, a site considered sacred by indigenous peoples. It was the second time that the High Court declined to hear this particular challenge to this particular land exchange. And to learn more, we welcome Deborah Kroll. She's Indigenous Affairs reporter for the Arizona Republic. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, Ted.
All right, so the Supreme Court once again looks at this Apache Stronghold suit, and once again says, we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it's a continuing cycle. You know, as we've discussed it before, it goes all the way back to the 1980s, when the Supreme Court said that just because they're going to destroy a sacred site doesn't mean a Native people can not be able to practice their religion, and they continue to aver that in the Oak Flat case.
Let's talk about the land exchange. It's between the U.S. Forest Service and Resolution Copper. What exactly what are the details of the land exchange, and what was the suit calling for?
The details of the land exchange were that Resolution Copper went to Congress, and after 10 years, finally convinced somebody to do a last-minute rider to a must-pass defense bill in 2014. And what the deal is that Resolution bought several plots of environmentally sensitive land. You know, these are private plots of land surrounded by public lands, and offered to swap them to the Forest Service for the 2,200 acres of the Oak Flat campground.
And the Oak Flat campgrounds are 60 some odd miles east of Phoenix.
Yes, 60 miles east of Phoenix, just on the other side of the Apache Leap from Superior.
And considered sacred by indigenous people.
Yes, primarily the Apaches. They consider that one of the home of the Gone, or the mountain spirits. And it's just like the sacred site, you know, the Lourdes, the place where Jesus was crucified, where he was buried. These are places that the people who believe in these religions don't want destroyed.
It's also a place where there is a massive, like the largest remaining copper ore site in the country?
Yes, yes. They said there's enough there to supply about 25% of the United States anticipated copper needs over the next 40 or 50 years.
The mining itself, I think you talked about this before, would leave a very big crater because of the actual mining effort, which kind of goes underneath from a distance and then comes. Talk about that.
It's called block cave mining, and it's basically the reverse of an open pit, where they have drilled a 7,000-foot shaft already on the plot of land they already own at Magna Mine. And the intent is to tunnel underneath where the ore body is, leaving pillars just enough to hold the land above it up. And then once they are done, they're going to start successively knocking those pillars down.
Oh.
And the pillars, you know, the land is supposed to subside into the open space. There's another tunnel that's going to take the crushed ore out to a loading facility, which will be trucked down to Mexico and then sent to China.
Now, and again, Apache Stronghold filed this suit. What is Apache Stronghold?
It's a grassroots group headed by mainly Apache people. The former chairman of San Carlos Apache tribe, Wensler Noser, is its head. But there are people from other tribes there. There are non-Native people there, religious leadership, environmentalists. There's several people involved in the organization.
And why is the Supreme Court, again, as we mentioned, for the second time saying we don't want to hear this?
I think they're relying on precedent. The precedent being that the last 40 years that that native religions or destroying certain pieces of public land are not what they call a substantial burden on religious practice. One of the original decisions on this said that if we let native people say this spot is sacred and we can't do anything with it, well, what's to keep other religions from doing that? But they don't look into what the Apache Strongholds argument is that you guys aren't looking back far enough, because some religion that only came here 50 years ago doesn't have the same connections to the land as people who have been here for 5, 10, 20,000 years.
And we should mention, this pretty much closes the book on Apache Stronghold in this particular case, doesn't it?
On this particular one, yes.
Yes, but there are others, and talk to us about that.
There are currently 3 other lawsuits in play. The first 2 are the ones that were filed at the same time Apache Stronghold filed its suit in 2021. That's by a group of environmentalists and the Intertribal Association of Arizona, and the other one's filed by the San Carlos Apache tribe. The San Carlos's assertion is both religious and environmental. The environmentalist suit is primarily environmental. They voluntarily put those on hold until the new environmental impact statement came out this year.
And the last one was about elders being able to teach their children about religion.
The last one, yes, they're calling it the Lopez case. There are 4 Apache women, all mothers, who are asserting that if Oak Flat goes away, that's going to put a substantial burden on their ability to teach their kids in their religion. And as we've talked about before, they are using a really recent case called the Mahmoud case, in which a group of people who are practicing the Muslim religion, the Orthodox religion, and I believe some Catholics sued because they thought their ability to instruct their kids in their religion was being impeded by some curriculum in public schools.
And before we go, we should mention that there are a lot of folks who want this mine. They think that this is going to mean a lot of jobs. It's going to mean economic growth for the entire state. Certainly that particular region. I mean, this has split communities somewhat, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's split Superior in half. It's split San Carlos Apache community in half. A lot of the communities in the Copper Triangle, you saw what happened with the Globe Miami floods. This incredibly rich region called the Copper Triangle contains some of the poorest people in the state.
Yeah.
And they're desperate for jobs.
Well, we'll see how far this goes. Another great job reporting on this, Deborah Kroll, Arizona Republic. Thank you so much for sharing the story.
Well, thanks for having me on once again.
You bet.
Jeff Bennett tonight on the NewsHour. Former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton is indicted over his handling of classified information. That's at 6 on Arizona PBS.
A St. Vincent de Paul shelter for people in need was recently graced by more than 1,000 paintings by local artist Betsy Vincent. The donation not only decorates the facility, but allows for residents to take a painting with them when they leave the shelter. We welcome Betsy Vincent to Arizona Horizon. And also with us is Julia Mathias, Associate Chief Program Officer at St. Vincent de Paul. Good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining us. I got all sorts of questions about De Paul Manor here, but 1,000 paintings. When do you have time to sleep?
I get up really early.
I bet you do. Why did you decide to do this?
I decided to do it because I believe in the program that St. Vincent de Paul has. It's a program, not just a bowl of soup and a bed for the night. They really help people renew their lives and move on to a complete and better life. And I believe it's such a good program that I happen to be an artist who paints very happy, very bright colored paintings. And I'm very prolific because I do get up so early.
Yeah.
And I wanted, the gift was to me because my paintings are going to be living on for years after I am no longer with us. And I wanted to do something for the individuals as well. And I had said to one of the directors, I'd love to have a painting by each bed, and that maybe they could choose the painting they wanted. And I believe they should be allowed to take them with them when they move on.
Julia, what is De Paul Manor? And talk to us about the facility, the services offered, and these kinds of things.
Sure. So De Paul Manor is transitional housing for people who are experiencing homelessness. We call that our particular style of transitional housing an interim housing community, because interim, it's temporary. Our goal is to get everybody into permanent housing. And then the community part, because we really focus on helping people to build community while they're there, and a lot of times that community follows them when they go into housing as well. So,
please.
So this particular program, De Paul Manor, was designed for people who are either over age 55 or have a disability. And then we have also programs for people who are looking for work.
So one-on-one meetings with case managers, life courses, these sorts of things to help people when they get out and transition to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Finance classes, karaoke, lots of, anything anyone wants to come in to do to enrich people's lives and help them to build skills and move on, we love to have with us.
And Betsy's paintings, how much of a change has that made?
It's amazing. So our building was built only about a year ago, and it was completely blank. It was literally a blank canvas. And when Betsy heard that we needed the artwork, it immediately just elevated the space into a place of color and joy and warmth, and it's my favorite gift that we've been given.
Yeah, and the idea of everyone being able to take a painting, it's true. You don't know where these are going. They have a life of their own, don't they?
I want them to have a happy life of their own and to have some joy and color in their life. And, I'm still painting, and I'm going to keep painting and giving them more paintings so they can give them to the people who are moving on.
Have you saved some paintings for yourself?
Yes, but we have just downsized.
Yes.
And so now I'm in a smaller space and I don't need as many paintings for myself. but we have, I really paint a lot.
And real quickly, as far as the response from people who find out that they get to take one of these paintings with them, what's it been?
Oh, it's so lovely. I think Betsy has some of the comments from some of our residents. We made sure to write down about just what each particular painting has meant for them. When they came to hang the paintings, one of the residents was helping them hang the painting, and so got to pick out his own painting that he wanted from the grouping. So it's been great. They love them.
I was going to say, that response has to be pretty heartwarming for you, isn't it?
It's so heartwarming. It's so heartwarming to hear. And the man who would come to pick up my paintings, moving over 1,000 paintings and getting them out of storage and out of my closets was a daunting thing to be doing. But the cooperation and the help that I got from St. Vincent de Paul was amazing, just amazing. Every other week, a van would arrive with a man named Dave, who was, I think, the man who hung the paintings.
Yes.
And so they just made it such a happy and easy experience for me.
Well, congratulations on the donation and all your great work, and congratulations on DePaul Manor. It sounds like things are going well there, and great part because everyone gets a painting when they go. It's good to have you both here. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
And that is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.